So when we bought our house, we had no idea that we were going to find water damage and mold in all 3 bathrooms and the kitchen. It started in the master bathroom where we found a leaky toilet had caused so much damage that we had to completely gut and rebuild our entire bathroom. After that, we discovered more water damage from a shower and toilet in our other 2 bathrooms that shared a wall. Once again, we had to completely gut and rebuild the bathrooms. And as if that wasn't enough, we found even more water damage and mold in our kitchen that also required completely gutting and rebuilding the entire kitchen and dining room. As you can imagine, this has caused us to be very diligent and a little bit paranoid when it comes to drips and leaks and potential water damage. For example, if I clean out a P-trap, I always leave a paper towel underneath it for about a week just to check and make sure that there aren't any drips. But I've also observed under sinks that people store a lot of soaps and other liquids. A lot of times they kind of drip down the edge of the bottle, and then again, moisture is getting on the bottom of the cabinet there, causing damage. For all these reasons, I've always thought it would be really nice to have some kind of like waterproof pan that you could put under all of the sinks in your bathrooms and your kitchens. Just something that would catch any potential drips or any residue coming off of bottles and just protect the cabinetry. And now I do have some experience working with acrylics for some small little projects, so I thought I could make some kind of custom acrylic pan that would just fit under all our sinks. I started with using a special plastic blade on the table saw to cut out the base and side strips for each of the pans. I found as long as I used the correct blade, went slow, and made sure the acrylic couldn't jump around on the table saw, it actually cut really smoothly. Side note, acrylic holds static electricity and the shavings don't like to let go. I would lay out the base and the side pieces, ensuring that the side pieces were resting on top of the base piece. Then I'd use painter's tape to hold everything in place, making sure the corners were fastened tightly and that all the tape was flat. Then I put some weld-on type 4 into an applicator with a needle that made it really easy to precisely place the weld-on into the seams. The weld-on actually melts the acrylic, so if you get a drop somewhere else, you'd see a permanent smudge. It was also kind of cool to watch the capillary action pull the liquid into all the little seams and cracks. Once the weld-on was cured, I placed a bead of clear silicone into all the seams, which was pretty low stress because it was going to dry clear and you weren't going to see it anyway. I've also learned that if you moisten your finger before wiping the silicone, it doesn't stick to your fingers as much. This whole process went pretty smoothly, at least once I got past the failed attempts, which is what I want to talk to you about. My first failed attempt came when I tried to make each of the pans out of one sheet of acrylic. I thought that would just be really nice and simple and elegant. I just cut out the corners here, and then that would leave flaps, and I could bend those flaps up, kind of seal the corners up there, and I thought that would be really super watertight because the only way water could ever escape would be in those corners, and that would be really easy to seal up. And I actually had some experience bending acrylic from another project that I did. I made this homemade Simon Says game, and it was kind of hard to see the lights from the buttons, and so I added in some lights on the sides that shined through this acrylic that I had to bend. And the way I did that was I made a wooden form that looked like this, and then I took some acrylic and I wrapped it around, and then I used the torch and applied some heat, and I could just kind of wrap the acrylic around the form, and that worked really well for the Simon Says game. I did the same thing for this attempt. I made a big giant wooden form, and then I laid the acrylic on the top of it, and then I applied the heat and tried to bend all those edges down and bend all those flaps down, and that worked mostly, except what it did is it warped the whole bottom of the base here. So the base doesn't lay flat, and the whole thing kind of wobbles and shifts around. That was definitely not going to work for under the sink, where I want to be able to set things on there, bottles on there, and not have them wobble all over. So this was my first failure for this project. My second failure, or at least unnecessary headache, was when I made the assumption that I couldn't cut this on a table saw. When I did the Simon Says project, I used the jigsaw because it was all pretty small cuts, but I thought for this bigger project, there's no way that I'm going to be able to cut all these long edges straight enough with the jigsaw. So I knew I was going to have to use a table saw. I did some research, found out that there's special blades for cutting plastic, but then I made another assumption, and that was that I still couldn't put the acrylic straight through the saw. I thought, with the jigsaw, the acrylic would kind of rattle all over the place and sometimes crack. And so I thought, this being a much more kind of violent saw than a jigsaw, that I'd have even more problems. So I thought I should support the acrylic as best I can. So my first attempt was to sandwich the acrylic in between two pieces of wood. And I thought that would give the acrylic the stability it would need, and I could run it through and it would work. The problem with that, though, was that it made it hard for me to see where my marks were. I had then three things I was navigating on these bigger sheets of wood. I was going through a lot of wood. Ultimately, it was just really annoying. In some cases, it was unsafe, and it felt like it was less precise as well. So I got tired of doing that, and so then I tried doing just one piece of wood. So I would put the acrylic down on the table saw, and then I would support it on the top with the piece of wood. Didn't take very long for me to realize that that also wasn't working. I didn't have the precision. It was just cumbersome. It was annoying. Sometimes it felt unsafe. So then I ended up just getting brave and trying to just run the acrylic through the table saw with the special blade, just going slow and just supporting it with my fingers, and that actually worked perfect. It turns out that I had made cutting acrylic way more difficult than it needed to be. So once I got past that, it was relatively easy to tape the pieces together, apply the weld on, and then the silicone. And then once the silicone was dry, I got to take the painter's tape off, and they looked amazing. It looked way better than the first attempt that was all warped. And it felt so good to put these under all of our sinks. You can't even see that they're there, but now I've got peace of mind knowing that if I work with a P-trap, or if there's a drip anywhere, or if there's residue from a bottle, that it's not going to ruin our cabinetry and become a potential water damage issue in the future. In this project, I definitely learned some techniques for working with acrylic that I'm definitely going to use in the future. But I also learned two important things. First, it's really powerful when people around you can learn things and they can pass on that knowledge and wisdom to you, and then you can save yourself the headaches and the frustration of having to learn those things that the people before you have already learned. In fact, that's one of the great things about the internet, is we're all learning and we're all sharing what we're learning with each other. But the second thing that I learned from this is sometimes we expect other people to go through the hard times for us so that we don't have to go through those hard times. And in this process, I had some headaches and I had some difficulty and I had some challenges and I had to overcome them. And there's probably other people out there who have already overcome those challenges. I just didn't know about it, so I had to figure it out for myself. And that's okay. I think it's unhealthy when we expect other people to solve all of our problems for us. So in this project, I got to experience some headaches, I got some experience some challenges, I overcame those challenges, I came out on the other side with a better product, and again, it's just another one of these examples of how these projects I'm going through are helping to develop me into who I'm becoming.